Alright guys, welcome to the M. Night Shyamalan ranking. This will cap off the entire review series for M. Night Shyamalan. I have reviewed 14 movies, including his newest one, Knock at the Cabin. So I'm going to go kind of quick through these because I have an in-depth review in each of these films. So if you want to go see my complete thoughts, go back and watch the other videos. But this is just going to be a ranking starting at the worst, ending at the best, all 14 films. Let's get right into it. Number 14, the worst film in Shyamalan's filmography is, in fact, The Village. I despise this movie. I hated everything about this movie. It was boring, the acting was bad, the twists weren't the greatest. There was worse twists, but everything... No, there's some really bad twists in this movie. From the reveal of the monsters actually not being monsters, they're just people in costumes, sending a blind girl out into the woods. Like, it just didn't... It was boring. The dialogue was bad. Acting was bad. Didn't care for any part of it. Don't and won't ever watch it again. Number 13. The Last Airbender. Now, this film, I've never seen the animated show. And it still wasn't that good. I didn't care that the names were changed or said differently. It's just, you could tell that it was based off a show, like an entire season condensed into like a 2-hour movie. I didn't like it at all. I thought the acting was shoddy. The special effects were decent for the most part, but it was just generally boring. And it's not my kind of show. It's not my kind of movie, so I wasn't going to be into the story anyways if it was told well. There are pacing issues. Character motivations didn't fully make sense. Last Airbender, boring and forgettable. Number 12 is a newer film from him, and that is Old. Yeah, I went to go see Old because it had such a great concept, and I was very disappointed when I left the theater. I thought the acting was terrible. It was filmed decently okay, but the twists were really bad. The coral, really? Who would have thought of coral? That's really lame. Everything seemed really hokey and cheesy. The situations were intense and very disturbing, but it was the one film in all of his movies, including The Village, that there wasn't a lot of suspense or thrills in the movie. It was just, I was along for the ride, and I didn't ultimately care too much for it. So by the end, I was kind of checking out. If the acting was better, maybe this film would be higher on my list. Number 11. Yeah, after The Village, she made Lady in the Water, which is a step up from The Village. But again, it's very forgettable. Some very hokey performances, a story that didn't really fully make a lot of sense, a twist that wasn't that big, but it was, I thought, done well. There was a lot of evidence and set up to that twist. Heeb, I think his name was. I can't believe I remember his name. He was the only likable character in the entire movie. But it was okay. It was shot okay. The main antagonist, the wolf thing, was a neat-looking creature. But it just didn't really do it for me, and I don't think I will ever watch that movie again. Number 10. His first film, aside from his one student project film that I'm not going to put in this list, is Wide Awake, a family-friendly film that tackles faith and death as a child. This movie is a setup to his career. You see where he's going to go with it. He doesn't make family-friendly movies, but he does make a lot of movies with twists. And this movie doesn't have one, but 2 twists that I think pay off in the end. From his friend having some sort of, I think, epilepsy, which was set up brilliantly throughout the entire movie, which I didn't see that coming. And then having God in the form of the child go around the school and kind of imprint himself on the kid, the lead character. I thought it was all set up very well, and it surprised me in the end. It wasn't a bad movie. I'm just not into those kind of movies. Like, it was good. It was good. Number 9. This is going to shock you guys, but it's The Happening. A lot of people have this very low on the list, and I understand it is a bad movie. It is, I think, probably the worst made movie on this list. But I had an absolute blast with it. The acting was horrible. The general idea of the twist is totally bizarre with the plants and all that. But the general idea is of some sort of plague or virus that's going around making people kill themselves. This is a rated R movie, and M. Night has some very disturbing imagery on this screen. And there's some decent amount of suspense, just a little bit here and there. I liked it. There was moments I was just laughing my butt off, and then other moments I'm like, oh geez, holy mackerel. Mark Wahlberg's acting is insane. When he's talking about the sexy pharmacist about getting cough syrup, if you've seen the movie, then you would know. And if you watch my review, you would know what I'm talking about. That line is the entirety of happening. But yeah, I had a great time with this movie. You could get drunk with your friends watching it and have a blast. Number 8, After Earth. Wow. So I was expecting a terrible film, like an F film, based off what people were saying, both on IMDb and in real life. And it ended up not being so bad. I like the idea of people going back to Earth after humans have left it because they basically destroyed it. Then the Earth has kind of fixed itself, healed itself, regrown to basically attack anything that is human to protect itself. It's a cool concept, and to have Will Smith and his son in the movie, like as a father and son duo, it's a pretty good idea. It's just the acting, once again, wooden and not the best. The special effects don't age as well, but it had some very cinematically beautiful shots in it. The action was decent for the most part. I related to the story, like as anyone would. It's a general story of a son trying to prove himself to his father. And yeah, I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. The alien creature was okay. I just liked the idea of going back to Earth. And it was a survival story, a popcorn flick, and it wasn't terrible. Number 7, there is a big jump from number 8 to number 7 now, and this one's pretty low on my list compared to what other people haven't, but it's Unbreakable. I'm not a big superhero guy in the first place, but this movie's pretty good. I love Bruce Willis, and it's just a nice little superhero origin story, and I dig it. It was good. It was well done. The little twist in the end was pretty cool about Mr. Glass and how he found Bruce Willis, or David Dunn, and I just liked it. I liked it. The decisions, the kind of character that David Dunn is, and how he was set up about the decisions he made in his past to give up certain aspects of his life, I thought was all done well. It was a good movie, and I was looking forward to seeing Split Glass because of this one. Number 6, his most recent film, Knock at the Cabin. I really like this movie. It's just kind of fizzled out at the end. But for the most part, great concept, great acting, great direction, and some really good thrills all throughout. I loved it. I thought it was a really, really good time. I just wish that there was a better twist or impactful ending. I know the book had a crazier ending, which I wish it kind of went for, but I thought this was a very good movie. Number 5, The Visit. A found footage movie. I don't like found footage films, first off, but this is a found footage movie that's really contained. It's really creepy and suspenseful at points. And I think this is probably one of his more suspenseful films. I jumped out of my seat a couple times watching this movie. It had some really good imagery. It was directed well even for a found footage movie. The story was pretty decent, and the twist paid off, even though I knew it was coming, but I thought it paid off really well. It was a good return to form after he did a couple big budgeted blockbusters. Took me a couple tries to say that. It's a good horror film. Number 4, a lot of people are going to click off after I say number 4, Glass. A lot of people hated this movie. They were expecting a big battle between the Beast and David Dunn. We did not get that. Instead, we got, I thought, a character-driven story, which I very much enjoyed, between Glass, David Dunn, and the Beast. And the reveals in the end, I thought, paid off really well and capped off this trilogy on a high note. I just liked all of it. There were some aspects to it of how characters interacted with each other that I didn't fully buy. Having this be Bruce Willis's final film in theaters, I'm relatively happy with. I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it paid off really well in the end. A lot of people said they thought it was hokey and cheesy. I really liked it. This movie was pretty solid. Glass was a great final chapter of this trilogy. Top 3. These movies are classics in my opinion. They're all great. We got number 3, Signs, with Joaquin Phoenix and Mel Gibson. As much as people make fun of the ending and the twist ending, I thought it was spectacular. This entire movie, it was thrilling. There were some good suspenseful moments, and it was just a good story of some farmer and their family living out in Pennsylvania. So I really dug it. I just liked all the different aspects of this movie. Even the acting was good, but there was still some hokey dialogue in it, but not enough. It was just enough camp and comedy that paid off well. I, I really liked it. I think a lot of people do like this film too. So Signs is my number 3. Number 2, we have Split. When Split came out, I didn't see it until recently. And I gotta say, I missed out on that ball. It was a great movie. It was thrilling all throughout. The acting performance by James McAvoy was intense. Like, he was awesome. The Anya Joy Taylor, or Taylor Joy, she was great in the role. I thought all the acting was done really well, and it showed that Shyamalan was evolving as a director. It was directed well, acted well, the story was good. The twist and weird monstrous creature that the beast actually was interesting. The idea that these identities within Barry altered the chemistry so much that some of them would need to take certain medications while others didn't was awesome. I thought this was a very, very good movie. My number 1 Shyamalan film of all time, without a doubt, is The Sixth Sense. It has my favorite actor and Bruce Willis. The kid, oh my god, his name's, I can't remember his name, but he was awesome. The plot twist is the greatest twist ending of all time. The idea of helping ghosts that are coming after this kid, and they're not trying to hurt him, they're asking for his help. It was a great idea, and it was just a well-told story. It was emotional at points. I think it's classic. This is an absolute classic that Shyamalan did try to replicate throughout his career, and no movie in his filmography ever compared with this one. It's hard to do when this movie was done so phenomenally well. I've been talking about an M. Night Shyamalan marathon, what movies I would put in it. That's pretty simple. I would put The Sixth Sense, I would put The Village, I would put Signs and Split, I would put the new film, Knock at the Cabin. I thought that was just beautifully directed and very well acted. And I would lastly put, I know, but this is like a thriller horror kind of marathon that I would watch, so I'm going to keep Unbreakable out of it. I would put The Happening. That is quintessential bad Shyamalan good time. You have to see that movie if you're watching a Shyamalan marathon. It's hysterical. So those are my 6 films in the marathon, and I think it would be a pretty fun time watching them. A lot of different films in that list. That concludes this M. Night Shyamalan review series in its entirety. No more Shyamalan after this until next year when his new movie comes out, which I believe I think it's 24. I could be wrong. But yeah, that's it. But thank you for watching, and if you want to see any of the other previous videos, click on my channel, subscribe, like, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Farewell.